Hey everybody, it is a beautiful school night and I got home from work and I did a little bit of emails and then I looked outside and I was like, there's just no way I can sit in front of the computer tonight when the weather is this nice. So I have some chicken chores to do. I need to put some more wood chips in their coop. And then I'm going to go in the garden tonight where it's supposed to be -4 with the wind chill. And we've had a bunch of hard frost. So I think I'm going to pull the rest of the onions out of the garden. They don't really look like they're done, but I'm just going to pull them and hang them and see what happens to them. And then, it's all wonky. And then, what am I doing? Oh, I'm going to go down to the Garden of Neglect and see what we got for potatoes. And I'll tell you a little bit of kind of a funny story, but not so funny. And I got injured yesterday. I'm not shooting you the finger. I got injured yesterday, so I'm gonna do a little bit of Michael Jackson, One Glove Wonder, just to protect my Band-Aid. But yeah, so let's go put some more wood chips in with the chickens, and then we'll go get the onions. I need to get some totes. Okay, let's go do it. Someone else is very happy about this beautiful fall weather. The camera never does the fall colors justice, but it's so pretty out. Okay, got my wood shavings. Oh my gosh, it's so nice out. The deer have been up at these fruit trees, just munching. The chickens have been enjoying a lot of garden treats, especially sunflowers, which they really like, but so have the blue jays. So let's get in here. All right. I haven't been in here in a while. And I know I've got one broody hen, an Orpington. If you ever want hens that go broody, like if you want a hen to have her own chicks, get Orpingtons. That's what Fancy Pants is. And they so she's gonna have to go in the shop. Bren's gonna kill me because they poop all in there and it bothers him. Hi, girlies. Who's that? All right. I let them kind of go in and scratch that around, but I'm gonna get this broody babe. This is actually a really good time to put her in the shop because during the work week, Brian is less likely to want to do work in the shop. Not altogether zero, but less likely. The worst part is I feel like she was just in the shop, so I don't get it. Lady, I'm sorry. This is Curly. Curly. Don't pick out. All right. So here we go. To the shop we go. Those two little roosters, those chicks, you haven't been watching, here they are. They're two roosters and they're so pretty. but they're getting picked on. They don't get a fair shake for all the food, so that's not super good news. They might, anybody know anybody who wants some roosters? Because otherwise they might be soup. That's one of the downsides of having chickens. We got a pretty hard frost last night. A lot of my plants are looking pretty sad. My marigolds are pretty sad looking. Lady, we gotta go in the shop. All right, we gotta go get her some water. Shop chicken. You ready? If you have never smelt broody hen poop, you are in for a real treat. She's not happy. But that's what you gotta do. I'm gonna go get some water. You can listen to her scream. Oh yeah, you're coming to... Stinky. All right. Okay. We need to get some crates to hold all of our stuff. I'm not taking out the carrots or the beets or any of that stuff. Even the cabbage. Ugh, I got cabbage ready. I got 2 beautiful heads of cabbage, but I don't have fridge space right now for the ferment. 2 crates. Oh, sorry, Tilly. Now, I do have to report back, on the sweet potatoes. They were amazing. So I cooked a roast on Sunday or Saturday, one of those days. And I peeled all of the little sweet potatoes, the ones that I called fingerlings. They were like that big around and about like that long. And I didn't know, I didn't expect much. And I'm telling you, I'm so glad I didn't compost them. I probably would have dug them out of the compost had I composted them, because they were like silky, sweet, delicious. Oh my gosh, they were so good. So if you have ever tried to grow sweet potatoes and you got those really little ones, eat them. So good. Okay, let's go get these onions. Anyone who is the onion expert, you need to tell me like how long we are to leave these in here. Oh my gosh, my nasturtium. This is awesome. Look at the nasturtium. Oh, flattened. That's hilarious. And my peppers, destroyed. It was a pretty hard frost last night. That's okay. It's time. It is time. So I got some chickens begging for some treats, so I might give them a couple treats here. All right, let's pull these. But like, look how big these are. Like, they're massive. So they're ready. Holy shnikes. Look at the size of this onion. I can't even see in the camera right now because the sun's right in my eyeballs. This is like, look at it. That's how big. It's gigantic. I feel like this is a fair winner. It's almost like, it's so beautiful I don't even want to eat it. It's gigantic. It's amazing. That's like, when a recipe calls for 1 large onion, it's like at least 2 in one. maybe 3. Depends on what your definition of a large onion is. Oh, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of onions. I have to go hang them on the rack. Yeah, gonna go do that. And then we'll go down and see about the taters. I'm really glad I took some good footage in here the last couple of days because my little loofahs got nuked, my peppers got nuked, the bean plants got nuked, the nasturtiums got melted. Yeah. And tonight is going to be the final because the frost is going to be pretty hard. Oh, but man, this day is amazing. I don't know if my little onion drying rack is going to be able to hold the weight of all these onions. We're going to have to see. We'll give it a go. The other ones, the purple onions or the red onions, they look purple, so I call them purple. They're pretty much dry. And I've been waiting because I wanted to do, like, braid them or whatever, like to make them look pretty while they hang. So I'm gonna try my hand at that in a couple weeks. I really don't think there's enough room on here. Like, I don't know if this is gonna support the weight of these monsters. We'll try it. If you're gonna grow monster onions, I would say space your racks further apart. This is bonkers. Yikes. They all got, like, I don't know, they were going to seed or what? They made these hard stalks. That's never happened to me before until this year. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But we're running out of room here. This part is super easy. Threading them on like this. Oh, there she is. Look at that thing. That is juicy. Okay, I couldn't have planned this any better. The onion rack is full. Both ends, like right to the tips. So there she is. Works pretty awesome though, have to admit. The hang it is really cool. So these are the ones I want to try and braid. I watched somebody on Instagram do it. I think I can kind of reproduce it. So I'm gonna try that in a couple weeks, but let's go down and survey the scene in the Garden of Neglect. Okay, I need my tater fork. Is it being too positive to assume I'm gonna need a wheelbarrow for this haul? Perhaps, but I'm taking it anyways. I don't know how all these vloggers do this. Gosh. I have to say, it's so much easier just to work. Carry a camera, blah, blah, blah. I wish I could set this up on the wheelbarrow. That'd be kind of fun. Hi, buddy. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna dump the camera, 100%. Whoa, whoa. Yes, done. Okay, let's just get down there. All right, let's talk tater. This is the Garden of Neglect, and if you remember, that was where Pumpy started in the spring, and Brian has now mowed all the grass, and actually he put a cover crop in that was just starting to come up. But this was the potato patch behind me. And if you remember, I planted 2 rows of potatoes the traditional way, so in ground. And then I wanted to experiment with Ruth Stout, which is just putting the potato on top of the soil and then covering it with straw. And we were off to the races. I was pretty excited early spring because all the potatoes came up and they were looking really good. And then I came out here one day to kind of do like how is it going video. And it wasn't going well because the deer had literally mowed the plants to like anywhere from 2 to 6 inches. They had a good time. And then once they knew that the potatoes were here, they just kept eating them, which I wasn't going to do anything about, but left them in the ground. And then in Brian's mowing process, because I also put some leftover tomatoes and peppers in here, he just mowed everything. And he didn't realize that I had Ruth Stout growing here. So at the very end of this bed, he mowed it. So, because they didn't look like anything, right? It was just flat with some green and he didn't know. Yeah, so let's just get into her and see what we got. I don't suspect that the potatoes are going to be very big, but whatever. If I have potatoes, it'll still be a win. So let's look. Let's start with the mounds first. I feel like this is a good place to start. Oh, if you guys like, I don't think you can, the camera like doesn't do it justice, but the fall colors right now are like stunning. Look at the wild beast in her element. It's like, oh, perfect here right now. Sorry, back to the potatoes. Let's dig potatoes. All right. And the weeds down here are dynamite. Yikes. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, they're tiny, but there's something. Those are like new potatoes. Oh, there's a bigger one. That's nice. There's a green one. I think those aren't good if you eat green potatoes. So you know what I'm gonna do? Because I'm not planting much of anything next year, I'm just gonna put those back in the ground. Ooh, there's one. Yeah, they're not very big, and that's what I expected. Although I can't figure out why these little ones are green. Well, this soil is so juicy. So back you go. I'm just gonna kind of cover that over. Yeah, so not bad. They're definitely not as big as they should be, but that's not bad. That's a meal. And there's only 2 of us, right? So, and like what everybody always says to me about potatoes are cheap. Yeah, so, and normally we never ate a lot of potatoes before. So let's, I'm not going to video this whole darn thing, but let's compare in here somewhere. Hopefully we'll find some Ruth Stout examples. Now I know I put potatoes, oh, is that a potato? All in here. Oops, look at this one. Oh my, look at how small. That's funny. Oh, these are hilarious. Okay, so, but I would suspect that they didn't do very well because I I didn't come and mulch. I didn't remulch anything. Ooh, there's a red one. So, and they have to, ooh, here we go. So those are nice. Although they're not as clean as they said they would be. Like apparently just putting them on top of the soil, they're supposed to be a lot cleaner. I'm definitely gonna cover the soil back up though, because I don't want, well, I mean, I already got weeds, but I don't want more weeds. Oh, look at that funky tater. Weird. And were these fingerlings? You know what? These were fingerlings. That's right. I remember now. I said I wasn't going to grow any of the purple fingerlings. Okay, so that makes better sense, because I was like, oh boy, that's a real, if those were those other varieties. But these were some of the yellow fingerlings. So that's not so bad. And then, okay, so these are Chieftain. These are the Chieftain potatoes. Yeah, those are super tiny. Oh, there's one. Yeah, so these ones did really well roost out. Like, I mean, they're not gigantic, but I think had I cared for them a little bit more and the deer hadn't have got them, I think we'd be having a different conversation. Yeah, they do. They lay right on top. It's kind of cool. Like if you are interested in trying that method of growing potatoes, I would recommend it. Just don't do what I did and let the deer get them. But like that's a nice tater. Okay, so I'm not digging all those up. I'm just going to concentrate on what's in the mounds and then call it a day for what it's worth. Okay, so sitting here with Tulip's hanging out with me. And when she was a puppy, she got the nickname Toots. And she's sitting here and it's so quiet. You can hear the crickets and stuff. And every once in a while, she'll have a little squeaker toot and live up to her name. And it's hilarious. Look how cute she is. My little garden buddy. Such joy. These are the moments that you have to savor. And so as I was kind of digging along here, thinking, asking myself why I do this, kind of why I waited so long, you know, I don't know. Part of me probably, well, a lot of me probably didn't think I could do it. That's one thing that it took me a really long time to learn, very late in life, to be brave enough to try things that you might fail at. So not to be afraid to fail. And there's a lot of things in life that still scare the jeepers out of me to even try. Ooh, here's a good one. But honestly, these potatoes are a really good lesson. I'm definitely not going to have like the World's Fair harvest for volume, but I guess it's just a lesson in perseverance and just, I don't know, trying and being okay for things not to be good. And I think we live in a society where, you know, everything, you're bigger, better. If you're not the best, why aren't you the best? And blah, blah, blah. And honestly, that kind of mentality really serves no purpose. And I am stuck in it. But I'm getting much better. And I think gardening, if it's something that you struggle with, gardening is a really good humbler. But tons of lessons to be learned. I'm a very active person. I don't like sitting still. I can't sit still very well. And so I was just thinking about, you know, I don't really know like why I do this, because you know, I think it is easier going to the grocery store, but there is something to be said about looking down at your plate when you're about to eat a meal. First of all, being so thankful to have the food that we have, but also knowing that it's my own kind of sweat equity that went into producing that food. And it sure makes you appreciate good food. And I've been out for dinner a couple of times recently because I like to go out for dinner as much as the next person, especially for food that I'm not good at making. And I find myself being very judgmental about the food. I want to know where it comes from. I never used to care before. I want to know, especially if I'm eating meat, that it had a good life. You know, I don't know. I'm not getting snobby. It's not about snobbiness. It's just about, I care a little bit more about food. And so, you know, these are all the things that you get to ponder when you're out here digging potatoes. And lately, especially at this time of year, I find myself retiring a lot earlier to, you know, watch TV. And at least when I watch TV, I knit, so I'm still kind of keeping busy. But it's important. Get over here. It's important even just to connect with the land. Like, I'm not a big forager, but, you know, touching, you know, running my hands through the soil, feeling, you know, to make sure that the soil is nice and healthy, and that seeing all the earthworms, it's important. And I think we've really, like, I know, we have lost this connection, like 100% lost the connection about, and I know this is going to sound deep, but seriously, like, what is important to live? It is money a little bit, especially in a consumer economy, but it's, can you grow food? You know, can you put a roof over your head? Like, literally, what can you build? What can you make? That kind of thing, it's important. It's important to know those skills. And I'm just talking now, but you know, I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately about, you know, like the cost of food and all that. And to be honest, I don't let it bother me at all. Like, yeah, it sucks, but this is the solution right here, growing your own. And if you don't have the space to grow your own, then, you know, taking control of buying in bulk and stocking up so that when food prices do soar, you don't have to pay the big bucks. And, you know, every little bit counts. I think that's one of the other things that, you know, if you can grow one meal out of a garden, that's one less meal that you had to spend money at the grocery store. So I think it's time to busy our hands and get off the screens, to be honest. After 2 years of way too much screen time, I know when I am kind of at peace or relaxed, and it's when I'm out here. It is not when I am in front of a screen of any kind, to be honest. Even editing these videos, I got ants in my pants the whole time. It's a real effort to sit for that long and edit. I do it because that's the only way to get the videos out, but it's not what I enjoy. So, okay, so that's not bad. A half a tote for this row. I don't know how long this row was, but I think one of the other things that it's taken me a long time to realize is that, you know, it's okay to be who you want to be. And that could be anything, honestly, and I don't know, I mean, just lately, not to be afraid to dress how you want, be who you want, and not to apologize for, you know, I honestly just want to be outside in the garden, growing food, raising animals. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That can totally be a thing. It's definitely, like, I don't know how I could do it without working, but because it is expensive to do some of the stuff that we do, but it is what makes me truly happy. I love teaching. As you can see, that's why I do this. I want other people to be able to do the same thing, you know, and I guess broaden their horizons, whatever. Look at how pretty that is. But not to be afraid. I am honestly most comfortable in my work clothes, dirty, my fingernails dirty. I don't particularly love to sit down and eat a slow meal. I just want to get up and get going. And there's nothing wrong with that. We are a society that judges people way too much and way too harshly. And last night I was watching a cool video of Temple Grandin. It was a video about autistic learning, and she made a statement. She basically, like, the name of the YouTube video, it was a TED Talk or something, is like, the world needs all kinds of minds. And I would go so far as to say, because that I definitely agree with. I mean, I'm certainly not inventing any kind of cool technology thing anytime soon. But, you know, the world needs all kinds of people. The world needs farmers, and the world needs scientists, and, you know, teachers, and all of that. And I think we are just so quick to judge people. And I've surrounded myself by, well, not surrounded myself, but I have known my fair share of judgmental people. And the older I get, the more I realize it's ugly, you know? Part of the reason why our society is the way it is because we're just too darn judgmental. I feel like I'm getting a load off here today, but I'm just kind of sharing what's on my mind while I'm out here, and, you know, kind of what working the garden can do for you. Okay, just an FYI though, seriously. I don't know if you can see that hole. That's an earthworm hole. Super cool right there. That's neato for soil health. This is it, folks. This is where it's at. Growing food is where it's at. Also, hunting season started on the weekend. So, good luck to all those hunters out there. May you harvest honorably and be thankful for any harvest or meat that you get. One of the other things that I think about a lot of the time is, you know, because I meet a lot of young people, I'm inspired by a lot of young people, but one of the things I think about often is that, especially because of the line of work that I'm in, is that people assume that just because you start out doing something, that you have to do that thing forever. That's not the truth, actually. It's not even close to the truth. And so if you're on a path, it's yucky. If you're on a path that no longer fills your cup, then try to do something that will. I mean, it can just be challenging yourself, starting a new hobby, Doesn't have to be an earth-shattering change, because the truth is not a lot of us have the capacity to do that. But, you know, try something. So for me this year, it was, so in the last couple of years, really, growing a bigger garden, raising rabbits. And the reason why I wanted to raise rabbits, because my dad used to, and I think it's a really sustainable meat source. Raising turkeys, my gobbles. I miss them terribly. But you know, setting goals, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm starting a new knitting pattern. I'm gonna post, if it turns out, I'm gonna post about it, show everybody what I'm knitting. Well, like, just start a new knitting pattern, seriously. Or, I don't know, sew something, make something. If you're not a maker, do something fun. Start running. Did that for a while until I hurt my foot this summer, but I'm not done with it. I just got to get back at it. Maybe next year, I don't know. Just do something different. I find I have a hard time getting motivated to do things that I don't love to do. But if I do those things, if I tell myself, you're going to do something you really enjoy if you can get this, whatever it is, work done. And usually my go-to is knitting, which I took a break from. I usually do in the summertime. I finished one big project and then I took a break. And now I'm back at it. But this is all very inspirational. Maybe it's the weather. It's the time of year. Who knows? But I think it's time to, I think, you know, if you have the ability to influence people, even in a small way, you have to be honest about kind of who you are and what you're thinking. And I've been getting better and better at being honest with myself, but with other people as well. And setting limitations, learning to say no, not. That's pretty. And the other thing, I'm just going to end my little soapbox here, is that if you are sitting there and you're someone that I know, or even if you're not, and you have something to share, you have information that you know, I don't know, you have a craft, share it with others, teach other people, if it's a skill, because, you know, that's empowering. I learned how to change my oil, well, part of it, the other day. And, you know, that's something I think I would feel comfortable taking on now. And I wouldn't have in the past. It was something Brian always did. And it bugged me. So I just said, show me how to do it. So pass on your skill to if there's somebody that wants to learn it, don't force it on them, obviously. But if there's somebody that wants to learn it, pass it on. Especially making things or doing things or building things, because that's not something that we gravitate towards often anymore. 2.5 rows, I'm going to say 3/4 of a crate of pretty small potatoes, but honestly, I'll take it. I don't know, there's just a lot to be learned about patience and making the best of what you got. Yeah, and honestly, it gives me a reason to be outside. Because, you know, if I didn't have this to do, I might just be sitting inside in front of the television or the computer, and that's not what our bodies were meant to do. So, anyways, thank y'all for coming along tonight as I took care of some chicken chores. harvested the rest of the onions, assessed the frost damage in the garden, harvested our puny potato harvest for this year. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to just listen to me. I don't know, talk a little bit about my perspective these days. Have a great night. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.